Here, we're going to talk about ethical non-monogamy.
So popular misconceptions.
Oftentimes when people hear like, oh, you're a swinger, they might think that you're dirty, you're seedy, you're ugly, you're all these like negative things, when really swingers are anybody.
The lifestyle in swingers in general is they're just out there having sex with everybody and anybody, and that's not the case.
Not true.
That's not the case.
We do have standards.
We do have standards.
Welcome to the Ask a Matchmaker podcast. I'm your host, Matchmaker Maria, and today I'm joined by Victoria, an ENM matchmaker. That stands for Ethical Non-Monogamy, and dating strategist for men, and her partner, Ryan. They're actually married, so it's her husband, Ryan. And we are diving into the world of ENM and talking all about how to date ENM style and what it really means and how to navigate it and what makes it work for couples like them. Before we get into this episode, a quick reminder that this podcast is for everyone. Whether you're single, partnered, or somewhere in between, you'll always find the no-nonsense insights that you love in dating, relationships, compatibility, and of course, modern love. Now, dating is a privilege, and while finding your person is amazing, this space is especially for those who are currently single and navigating it all right now. My goal is to give you the tools, clarity, and sometimes that tough love you need to date with confidence. And if you haven't yet, what are we waiting for? Go buy my book. It's called Ask a Matchmaker. You can find it at Barnes & Noble, Amazon, your local bookstore, or you can also check it out on Audible or Spotify. I talk a lot slower in my audiobook. You will definitely have a parasocial relationship with me when you read it. It is amazing. You can also head to matchmakermaria.com to submit your questions for an upcoming hotline episode, or you can join my roundtable. That's my community for singles who are dating with intention and want an accountability partner, the community, to talk about dating and any issues they might be experiencing. Now, you can check out the show notes for a special promo code, and you'll see other cool links there too. So definitely check out the show notes. All right, now let's talk about why we are here. We're going to talk about ethical non-monogamy. I am so excited to talk about this because I don't know much about it. I mean, I know a little bit because you have talked to me about it at different times, but I don't have a lot of experience in it, mainly because not only do I participate in monogamy, I also work with people who are looking for to be in a monogamous relationship. But you have a whole different experience with ENM. So talk to me through it. Walk me through how we started ENM. How big is this community?
Oh my gosh.
Where do you want to start? The beginning? Our beginning?
You can start from your own beginning.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Do you want to do that? You want to go over the story?
Sure.
Well, first, you go over
So we first met when we were in Japan while we were active duty in the military, and it was at a small house party. I actually met when I was on my way out.
The
I was
audacity.
leaving.
She tried to leave without saying hi.
But because he was late. But before I was able to leave, I was connecting with like his friends and talking, and they had invited me to go Mario Karting with them on the streets of Tokyo. So I said yes, of course. And then a few days later, I was Peach and he was Mario. And pretty much right after that, we were inseparable anyways. Initially, when we first got together, it was just supposed to be for fun. But then
I'm too cool. It's okay.
But like early on in our relationship, I expressed that I was bi-curious. But even before I expressed that to him, I always had an interest in non-monogamy. I guess specifically, I was always interested in swinging ever since I heard about the term when I was in high school. So it always like lingered in my head. I'm like, that would be amazing. You can have sex with other people. You can still have like a happy marriage and live a normal life. And yeah, so that stuck with me. I told Ryan about it, and
how many hours, weeks, months into this relationship are we sharing?
5 hours. No, I'm just kidding.
No, for real though.
It's the full journey until we consider ourselves like really swingers or in the lifestyle, probably about a year
and a half.
Yeah, a year and a half. Yeah.
So you had like an established foundation.
Yeah.
To be in that like vulnerable state to share like deep dark secrets.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So
definitely.
we talked about it really early on, and we were actually long distance for 6 months, and we wrote erotica to each other back and forth, pretending we were swingers, that we were in these different situations. Like it was really high. It was a great way to pass time. And then when we moved to San Diego, so we met in February 2016 and then moved to San Diego August 2017. And that's where we really launched our
we started exploring.
lifestyle.
We went to different events, like I'll use some code words here. Munches and sloshes is what they're called. So munch is, you're sitting down, maybe there's some food involved, and talking to different people about different things. I believe we went to a few different meetups. So a polyamorous one, a rope tying like shibari one, and then we finally went to a swingers event, and then that kind of stuck with us.
Yeah, we met swingers, and we're like, yeah, these are our people. And then we've been doing it ever since, and it's been over 8 years.
But then how did this turn into a business? You're professional matchmakers now. You're in the matchmaking community. I believe I met you, I want to say 2 years ago or 3 years ago.
2023.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you introduce yourself. You say, I'm an E&M matchmaker. I remember saying, what is E&M? You explained it to me. And I was like, oh, I didn't even know that there was.
You immediately lit up when I told you.
Oh, yeah. I was just like, this
now.
is so different than anything I've ever heard. Tell me more, because I had never even thought of that as like part of our, like, I just didn't know,
Yeah, the idea came to me because I guess the way my career transition was from military, and then I got my MBA, wanted to start my own business. And then the idea of matchmaking came to me when Ron and I were honeymooning in Iceland. And it just like stuck with me. I looked to see if there was matchmakers that were doing non-monogamous matchmaking, and there were none. And immediately I was like, I want to be the first one, because I was kind of like naturally matchmaking beforehand. Like whenever there was a single or there was these couples, and like, I'm like, you guys would like each other. And then when they did, best feeling ever. So then I'm like, okay, let me look into this. I interviewed a handful of matchmakers, and I'm like, we need someone like you. There's no one else doing it. They were super supportive. And I got certified, and then I went to the conference and I met you. And yeah, I wanted to be the first matchmaker doing it. And because that was my lifestyle, non-monogamous people are my favorite kind of people. And it's a very taboo subject, as we all know. And it's really hard to find people who want this kind of lifestyle and how to even just like have a conversation about it. So I wanted to be the person who did the connecting, and that's how it started.
So you recently spoke at one of our big conferences together.
We did, yes.
And one of the things that, struck me and my team was how you started, you created a vocabulary book for all of us.
Yeah.
So can you walk us through a little bit, like give me a little bit of the glimpse, especially for many listeners, this is also their first introduction to E&M. Yeah. Who's participating? What are the words?
Okay. So we'll start from the very, very, like we'll call it an umbrella term. So ethical non-monogamy. So non-monogamous is more than one partner. The ethical part attached on just means you're doing it in an ethical manner. Now this means different things to different people, right? And then under that umbrella, right, there's, I'd say, 3 main subtypes. So you have open relationships, you have the lifestyle swinging, and then you have polyamory.
And consensual non-monogamy.
Oh, yes, consent. So another aspect of it is instead of ethical in front of non-monogamy, there's a consensual piece of it. So something that we might not consider ethical, but other people are okay with, they know about it, is considered consensual non-monogamy. I know it's a lot.
What's the difference?
So the difference maybe...
So when it's consensual non-monogamy, everyone's aware of what you're doing, but an ethical has different standards. For example, you might be in a relationship where the one half is closed off and they can't meet other people, and the other person is open to meeting other people. To us, that's not as like ethical, because we believe that it should be fair, and that we think that each partner should have the ability to have different opportunities.
To make that choice.
Yeah.
I guess another example maybe would be a mistress on the side, where the wife is okay with it, but we don't talk about it. It's
so that would
not
be consensual.
Yeah, that would be consensual. Both parties know.
Another example is don't ask, don't tell arrangements. We believe that in order to be ethical, communication should be open, and a lot of people do practice don't ask, don't tell, and
again, there's nothing wrong with that.
But they're consenting to that. They have that conversation.
For us, it would be that particular paradigm would be consensual, where for us it really wouldn't be ethical. But to another couple or other people, it would be ethical to them. So
just different standards.
I know it's just a little bit of different standards.
Yeah, so that's kind of like the difference between ethical non-monogamy and consensual non-monogamy. And then as Ryan said, that there is open relationships, swinging lifestyle, and then polyamory. So open relationships is where you have personal freedom, and typically you're doing things separately. So it could be hall passes, it could be one-on-one dates, separate from your partner. It could be casual. It could also be intimate. That's the most common word, and it's the most understood one. Part of the presentation was a diagram that I had where it was like, here's examples of monogamy, and then here's examples of non-monogamy, and it was just like this giant
spaghetti chart
diagram. And the most common was open. So it can vary. And then polyamory is intimate, loving relationships. And then swinging lifestyle is like sexual experiences. And then swinging is typically with a partner. Lifestyle, it could be an array of different things. It could be group stuff. It could be solo stuff.
But E&M is the umbrella term for all these things?
I would say non-monogamy is the umbrella term. And then you can tack on ethical, consensual.
I see. So if someone wanted to work with you, right? They go to your website to fill out the form. Do they have a choice of all these vocabulary words you just gave us? Or is this something that you're talking about when you're meeting people?
So we do have a little lexicon on the website, right? Like where it goes over all these definitions and then all these terms and everything. And then when you say you want to get in contact with us, there's a form you can fill out, right?
Yeah.
And it has basic questions. And you can it has like a paragraph thing where you can put in what you are looking for, right? You may not know what you're looking for, but that's why.
But there's people looking for monogamy coming to you?
They can be.
People do join my database seeking monogamy. Yeah.
We generally refer them out.
And then we refer them out for sure.
Like, why? Okay, so now you've just given a lot of vocabulary. I will tell you, I was sitting next to my sister, who's also a matchmaker. When you were giving this presentation, you were going through all of these different vocabulary words and explaining what all these things mean. And we just looked at each other. And then we both said the same thing to each other, which is like, I've never realized just how monogamy we are until this very moment. Like, you don't know until like you were faced with it. And you're like, oh, wow. Like, I'm really monogamous. Like, because everything you were saying to me sounds exhausting. Yeah. Like, I think I even said this to you privately, like, you have to be able to communicate really well with your partner on an ongoing basis for this to work.
Yes.
I communicate really well with my husband, but I also have like a limit of like how much I want to talk to him about things. And I was just like, this just seems like I have to talk to him more than I have to. Forget it. I'm okay with monogamy. I'm lazy, you know?
Yeah.
Can you tell me though, like, what are the most popular misconceptions? Because I know someone listening to this episode who's never met someone who's participating in E&M or has heard of throuples or polyamory or whatever. You have your misconceptions of, for instance, how do you tackle jealousy? That seems like a very natural emotion to have. Do you have to have constant conversations about people that you meet, of like who you're attracted to? How do you set it up? What happens if someone doesn't want that anymore? Like, what are the...
All right, so we'll start back at the beginning. So popular misconceptions. Do you have...
the one that comes to my mind is oftentimes when people hear like, oh, you're a swinger, they might think that you're dirty, you're seedy, you're ugly, you're all these like negative things, when really swingers are anybody. It could be... It's literally the whole population that can fit in like one club or like one space. All shapes and sizes, all backgrounds. There are religious people. There's not religious people. It's very, very, very diverse.
Sure.
So that is like a very common misconception, I think. And a lot of times like the websites that are catered to swingers are very outdated, unfortunately. So that is actually an area that a lot of people are working on to make it a more elevated and classy experience. So that's a misconception I like to nab.
Yeah, I guess a common misconception about the lifestyle and swingers in general is they're just out there having sex with everybody and anybody, and that's not the case.
Not true.
That's not the case.
We do have standards.
We do have So
it's not so easy. It's actually a little bit harder than people might think.
Okay, I'm getting my own misconceptions. Okay,
turns out you have to be nice and be able to communicate and
be
present
flirty.
yourself well, just like a normal relationship.
Do you ever like meet a couple and you're like, oh, let's swing again next Thursday? Or
we have a lot of friends or like people that we've met through swinging
like
or the lifestyle that are friends now, that are really good friends now.
Okay.
So
Yeah, actually kind of funny that you say on a Thursday, because we have just met this new couple who are similar to us, and they actually want to hang out like on a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
Sex?
Yeah.
Well, just in general.
Or
But
in
yeah,
general. But I mean,
for sure.
I think it is.
I mean,
afternoon, that's like when the energy is the best. I'm like,
It's
I'm
nuanced.
excited about the idea of a Sunday fun day. I mean, we've also done some interesting things on Wednesdays. Like people throw parties on Thursday, like weekdays, weekends.
Wow, it's cool.
It's a very busy crowd. Depends who your friends
calendar's
are.
always full.
I see. And then
Yeah.
how do you, like, I mean, in any sexual relationship, like protection, pregnancy,
Yeah.
do you people have to take an STD test to like enter the door?
So that's all very nuanced. I'd say most people generally are getting tested quarterly or more often in the lifestyle just because of the risk. Generally, people use protection.
Okay.
It's usually like the baseline.
Yeah, the standard. So if
Is PrEP a standard in the swinging community?
yes and no, it can be, but not.
People are
not
definitely
completely.
talking about
Yeah,
it, but it's like new.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
people are not sure, and it's like not as accessible, especially like to women. They have to like kind of fight for it. They want to be on it. From the conversations that I've heard, the doctor's like, "Oh, you're not a gay man. You don't need it."
Yeah.
So
Right.
So, but yes, the protection is
And
very much
we're-
thought of.
there's also some
Is
clubs
there
that
like
are
a bowl with condoms?
there are
There are bowls of
There are condoms
or
everywhere,
on the
typically
shelf,
at parties.
wherever. Yeah. So
some
I feel
clubs.
like I deserve a sticker.
yeah, people bring their own too.
Yeah, a lot of people bring their own usually, and there are clubs that require you get testing within 3 months of their party. So then you send in results, and typically, like in the lifestyle, I feel like it's safer to hook up with people who are in the lifestyle rather than someone out in the wild because we're so self-conscious about that kind of stuff. We have partners, we have friends that we care about. Everyone wants to play it safe, so it's something that happens pretty regularly, and it's very easy to talk about more than like you would out like.
And there's also
your friends.
what are the words I'm looking for? Like a conversation that can be had with somebody else that say, hey, I don't like condoms, but here's my latest test result. I had it 2 days ago. I haven't had sex with anybody else. Would you also provide your test results, and then you can do fluid bonding? So.
Yep, that's one. And then sometimes I knew a guy that like who would match people on apps, and he had a big introduction, and like my STD status was this many days ago, and just information so you have it even though you didn't ask for it. So there's lots of ways people receive that information.
So how do you deal with jealousy?
Oh, that's a good question. How we specifically deal with it is it's natural. It happens. It happens even to us now, right? Like something can.
You feel jealousy?
Yeah, of course. I mean, like it could be.
I just figured you don't have that emotion.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a new situation, and like, oh, I didn't like the way you did that, right?
I feel like it's been a while.
It has been a while. It has been a while,
kind of like rubbed us the wrong way.
But it's all communication. It's the same with a monogamous relationship. If something upsets you, right? Like if I'm not taking the garbage out, I'm just using a random reference here. But if I'm not taking the garbage out and it upsets her, she's going to talk to me about it.
Yeah,
The same thing with sexual.
Yeah,
situations.
and what we do too is if we're feeling that way, we express that within like a few minutes of feeling that emotion.
Yeah.
Like if we're at a like
wow.
Yeah, if we're at a club or something, obviously
You say it at the club?
No, generally
privately-
don't. We would
go
if
to,
something
like-
happened, like in the earlier days, like if something happened, you'll see people like, hey, let's go to the bathroom. I have to go take a lap or something, do something, right? Like to go talk in a corner or something. Like, hey, I don't like this. Can we do something about
Like
that?
I don't like you being with that person.
Or it's not necessarily even that. It can be such a little thing. Like I didn't like the way you touched their kneecap. I don't know. That's a
That was
really
someone- that wasn't
random.
us, that
That
was
was
someone
really somebody else. It was a really random reference. But I don't like the way you did
or
X,
like
Y, Z.
I'm not feeling like ready to like kind of move forward. Can we just kind of build up, can we settle in first and then kind of like be more outgoing at the party? So it just kind of depends.
So what happens if you seem like you're a very good listener.
Oh, me.
Yeah.
Very good.
Thank you.
I mean, I've also interacted with, your husband professionally. So I'm not saying something that's, Ryan's a very safe person. But I do think that there are some people who don't listen.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And there are some people who even get off on making another person feel jealous.
But
So I think that comes down to the respect you have for your partner. Because if you don't respect your partner, then what they say doesn't matter. So you have to have really strong respect for each other to listen and then act accordingly. And
Do you ever meet these couples?
that don't have a high.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we generally stay away from them. You can
Yeah.
tell pretty
can tell.
quickly.
How?
Oh man, that's a
So usually when it comes from conversations and you're talking to both couples, sometimes only one half of the couple is talking, and one half of the couple is excited to be there, and the other one is just like
completely disinterested or just
completely disinterested.
Yeah.
And
it's
so
a
then
lot of little things, a lot of body language and words that they're saying. It's
yeah, you can tell when someone's happy to be there and when someone's just there for their partner. And so we kind of
Can you
vibe
tell
check
when
very
someone's like scared of being judged?
in what's in like as like I guess that's a nuanced question as well. Yes.
I feel like some people might have new experiences, right? And, like in anything.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay.
And you
so,
enter a room, and so like let's say you go to a swingers club, it's your first time there, and it's like, oh, I don't want anyone to think poorly about me.
Yes. So we're kind of big ambassadors in our community, and if we notice somebody that's new and is like kind of nervous, we'll go talk to them, right? Like a lot of the issues that you'll see with like first time people is they don't know how to act or they don't know what
Right.
to do,
So that's
right?
what I'm
So
asking,
you just I guess kind of take them under your wing a little bit and show them around.
So do you match people with someone to show them around? Because that's like a really good. I feel like having like a swinging mentor.
I feel like that's what I do anyways.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
do. I guess
I
you
put
have to
myself
charge
out
for
there
it.
a lot, and then I have a lot of women, for example, reaching out like, I'm interested, but I don't know how to start. I'm like, I got you.
Yeah.
And then I get to know them, and then I kind of figure out like what friend groups they might be compatible with. So I do a lot of matching with
Wow.
friends.
And then
Truly.
to that point, we actually
And
started doing non-monogamous speed dating as like a hosted
social
event.
events.
Yes, in social
Couple to
events.
Sex
couple?
happen after?
No. So those are so that's
Because that would be a brilliant business model.
yeah, that one would be great. So, but we specifically market it towards people who are new or might be new, but also like people who have been in the community for a while.
What do people wear to it?
Nice clothes.
E&M.
Nice clothes. The first date clothes generally.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
What do
Well-
people wear to swinging clubs?
There's theme nights.
It depends.
Almost always there's
Either-
a theme.
Either something very nice. If there's no theme, you're
Or you dress up
very
really
dressed up like
nicely,
suit and
yeah.
tie and dress and looking
Wait,
sexy.
people wearing suits and ties to
Yeah.
swinger parties?
Oh, yeah.
So then when you start to get naked, how do you like, where do you
Sexily.
put all your stuff?
in your bag.
You have a bag?
You have a bag.
You have
a
a
locker.
bag? So
Yeah,
people
just
just
There's a
carrying
coat rack.
plastic bags around?
no.
Usually backpacks
Marc
or
Jacob
we call it
bags?
sex
Come on.
bags. And it's just like, I have like, actually one of my little hacks, I actually have like a Marc Jacobs like diaper bag. So it has lots of different sections. So I have like a spot for condoms, lubes, ponytails, gum, toys, all sorts of
Lingerie,
things.
yeah.
Lingerie.
Okay.
A post
have way
a
more questions
post
than
party
that.
outfit to be more comfortable in.
So how does
Slippers.
someone feel like if they were to attend something like this, can you go alone?
It depends on the club. So, and I should say, yes, it depends on the club. Generally, single females are welcome
Are
pretty much
they're
everywhere.
always welcome.
Single
always.
males depends on the
Depends on the
place
club.
that you're going to.
And then, when you arrive, do people take your cell phones?
Generally not. Again, I guess it would be dependent on a club, but there are generally like rules like don't film, don't take pictures except in this one specific area. And
Or if the group wants
yeah.
pictures and videos taken, then people will bring tripods and lighting.
Yeah,
for
that too.
funsies. So for those who want pictures and videos saved on their phone, they will do that.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that I really like about swinger clubs in general is everyone's unplugged almost always. Like
Yeah.
we're very much into trying to get to know people. We're trying to have a fun night. People are not on their phones.
Yeah.
They're put away, which
Okay.
I forget when I go to like regular networking events or any social event. I'm like, why are people on their phones like not engaging with each other? I'm just so not used to it. People are
Right.
not usually on their phones at the clubs.
So then with matchmaking, how does it work for like as a business now, right? Because now you're trying to set up someone who wants to participate in this lifestyle or perhaps has been in that sort of lifestyle and wants to find someone who wants to be in that lifestyle too. Do you still look for matches that are perhaps currently monogamous but would be open, like they're curious? Like how does it work?
Yes. So my main clientele is those who are single who want to be non-monogamous. And then so when I do like the intake, I try to figure out like what kind of non-monogamy they're interested in, whether they do want to be poly, if they want to be open, if they want to be a swinger, because they're all similar, but they're very different. And then from there, ask like what their long-term goals are. Do they want more partners? Like what activities do they want to do with their future partner? And then I go and find someone who matches that. And I also try to base off like experience level, because oftentimes two new people are kind of better, then they can kind of grow, or like someone with more experience might want someone with like equal experience, or someone might be flexible, like little to no experience to lots of experience. So just figuring out like what they're what they're open to. And
Do people that come to you also have like religious deal breakers or political deal breakers?
Often, yes.
Yeah.
And oftentimes, but my most common clientele lean left, and they are not religious.
Sure. Okay.
So it makes my life a little easier. Because everyone,
because I think about like at work, like the things that we always have to deal with is, you know, the political deal breakers are number one.
Yeah.
And then like this has been going on longer now than it had. Like I started my business in 2008, 2009, and then the political deal breakers showed up in 2016, and it's become so much more nuanced in the last 10 years.
I want to say my clients are left leaning, but they're pretty open on politics. Like they just want someone they can do everything with more than anything.
Right. And then another one is obviously like religious background, even if they're not religious.
Yeah. I mean, people are always looking for people that are of the same religion.
Usually not a deal breaker though.
Yeah.
They're pretty, like my clients.
So what is a typical deal breaker in an E&M matchmaking service?
I guess being super religious and being super political are usually what people don't want.
Okay.
They want flexibility, and they're even open on age range a lot of times too, which is nice.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
How about drugs?
Also open on drugs. I think ideally they want someone who is open to it at least a little bit.
Like an edible?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't think I've had any straight edge clients or required that. So that hasn't been a deal breaker.
You have had somebody that could only drink. They couldn't do any drugs, right? Like
that's true.
So there was
someone that inquired who did not become a client, but he didn't want someone who vaped, cigarettes, anything like that, because he was in the DEA, and he did presentations on not doing that kind of stuff. So he would felt like it'd been hypocritical if he had a partner that did everything. So that made sense to me, but that's not very common.
Have you ever had anyone famous?
Not yet.
You can't tell anyways.
You know, it's funny because I feel like there was this one time where we had someone really famous come in and you didn't exist yet, but he was essentially describing like this. And I was like, I have no idea how to help you. Why don't you go check out like FetLife or something?
Yeah.
Like, I don't, you know, what, because that's not who I'm meeting on a day to day. And I mean, now they're married. I just assume their
Hopefully
wife
it's going
is.
well. Yeah.
Like, I'm like, okay, great. Good for you, dude.
You hope
know?
he's happy.
I hope you're happy. But that was a very interesting experience because at that time, that's why I think when I first met you, I was like, ooh, this is so different. I'm never going to do E&M, but now I know who to refer people to. Like, because I just don't know enough. And I think in general, when someone's hiring a matchmaker, they certainly have to think about like what circle that matchmaker has.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, for sure.
Right? Like if I don't understand, if I'm not participating in something,
the lifestyle is definitely, I mean, a person's lifestyle
helps to know it.
Is really important, right? So
yeah. All right, I have a few more questions. Can you break down the differences between polyamory, open relationships, and swinging? We've been using these terms like on and out, but like what exactly is the difference?
So polyamory is multiple loving relationships. The emphasis on love there. Swinging lifestyle the emphasis is on fun and sex, I guess.
Experiences.
Yeah, sexual experiences. And then open relationships, the emphasis is on personal freedom. Those are the main differences between those. Now they can blend and merge a little bit.
You can be all of the above.
You can be all of the above.
Whoa.
But, you know.
Those are how we differentiate them.
Has anyone ever asked you to be in a polyamorous relationship?
Us
specifically?
I don't.
No.
No. Like
I was like, us, no.
You guys are so funny.
All the time. People do inquire for polyamorous connections. They're married or they want to be a polygamist, so they want to have multiple wives. I've also had a woman who wants multiple husbands. I've heard someone that wants to start their own like commune. I got all sorts of inquiries, but I don't really take them on.
Got it.
Because usually you have to start with one partner and then you can go from there. So when someone's like, I want 2 wives, I'm like, okay, let's start with one first.
Well, and it's a lot more difficult. It just becomes exponentially more difficult because instead of matching one person and another person together, you're matching one person to 2 people and one person and that person to 2 other people, and it becomes.
You just described my nightmare.
Yeah, yeah. No, it sounds really it's
no way.
It's dating on hard mode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got lots of inquiries and lots of polyamorous people.
So how do fetishes and kinks and sexual interests, like how do these things come into play? Because, it's not enough to just be a swinger. There's things that you're going to like. Is there, first of all, is there a vanilla swinger?
Yeah, sure. There's, I mean,
call them dirty vanillas.
No, that's
Do you? Really?
That's something else. So a dirty vanilla is somebody that likes to go to events and look really sexy and show off, but not do anything at all. So that's it's just.
I would never shave for that.
Well,
like, okay, all right. So you're there. So where do fetishes and kinks come into play here?
So fetishes and kinks, I would say, come in as like an add-on. It's not necessary, but it can be involved, right? Like you can tie somebody up and still be a swinger. That's great. And I want to clarify a little difference between fetishes and kinks. So fetishes are something that is required for somebody to get sexual gratification, and a kink is just something outside of the norm that people do, but it's not required. So it's just like an enhancement, like Tori said. So,
and the way I think kink and fetish can tie into non-monogamy is being able to find people that you can have those conversations with, that you can have those experiences with. Oftentimes, non-monogamous people are part of dungeons, and that can be a whole wheelhouse of interests that people can explore. And I also
think... What
is
is a dungeon?
A dungeon is...
You're saying these words as if...
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I know. We have to level set.
So a dungeon is a event space that has... Andrew's crosses, so like think an X that someone can get restrained
stuff.
on.
BDSM you're thinking stuff. Whips and chains and tying people up and
cages and all that kind of fun stuff. People can go here, utilize the space with people or what the space provides, and so that's what kind of like a dungeon is. It's a play space. Sometimes sex happens, sometimes it doesn't. There's like it doesn't. There's workshops, there's seminars, there's parties, there's social stuff
and BDSM or kink in general is a whole different beast and thing outside of
different lifestyle.
Outside of non-monogamy. It's something like a completely different community, not completely different, but a different community.
But it also ties into non-monogamy because sometimes you can be with a partner who is kinkier than you and wants to do things that you are really interested in. So you are giving them, you're having that conversation that they can explore that part of themselves with someone else consensually.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
so I would think of it kind of like a Venn diagram. You have the lifestyle non-monogamy over here. You have kink and overlaps. Maybe fetishes are coming in here. It's there's a lot of overlap with all of these things, right? So
and some different parties have more like a more specific theme, like that is intentionally more BDSM centric with non-monogamous people. So who knows what might go down there.
So as a professional matchmaker, now let's take it back for a second. Do you ask people, do you have fetishes or kinks?
Yes. And they share everything with me.
She has a good 2-hour conversation with
people tell me everything.
I don't think I've ever asked a client, what are your fetishes
That to me is
kinks?
kind of crazy. You don't ask about sexual values?
No.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what they talk. They usually tell me that within an hour of talk. As soon as, because I think people open up a lot quicker with me because I tell them a little bit about myself as well. Like, I'm one of you. You can tell me everything I need to know so that when I vet people for you, I can see if they're into it or they're not, and then give you that information and you do with that what you will.
Do your clients expect sex on the first date?
No. That's actually in my contract as a no-no. Part of my thing is there's actually no contact until they are meeting on that very first date, and they cannot exchange information. It needs to be through me. So that way I get the feedback first and make sure that they both want to talk to each other, and then I exchange information, and then they take it from there. So that way there's like a little bit of a layer of protection.
I'm like learning so much. It's so interesting. So how about the people that feel judged by this? Like I feel like there is some sort of judgment, if not from the outside world. Like I would love to know how, your own circle was like, oh, wow, you guys are going really public with this. Mm-hmm. But also the judgment that someone could feel in these spaces. Mm-hmm. If there is judgment, I don't know.
So I want to touch on in the spaces potential feeling of judgment. You might go in there feeling like you're worried about being judged, but as soon as you start seeing everyone living their best life, that kind of goes away. People are not thinking about themselves or not thinking about their bodies or their body types. They just see someone having fun and enjoying themselves, and because of that, it really helps with having a positive body image about themselves.
Really?
Yeah.
I can see that.
And there's also less
And there's all
judgment.
different body types, right?
All different types.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I would say it's a subset of the entire population, like 1% of the entire population. You can just, that's.
Okay.
And then I think people don't really feel judged in these spaces because we're all here for exploration and sexual liberation. And we all want to help each other reach those goals, reach those desires, and reach those fantasies. There hasn't been a time where I've seen like someone come in like, oh, I want to try this, and then get judged or talked down or like anything for it. People are positively interested in making things happen for them and fulfilling whatever they're interested in. So it's really a non-judgmental place. So if people come in feeling judged, they shouldn't. I mean, of course, that's a natural worry, but you'll start seeing people being liberated, and you're like, I want to be like that too. And then.
So let's say someone is listening to this episode right now, and they're feeling tingly with all the new thoughts you just put into their brain. What are a few steps they could do to explore this community or even exploring your services?
Oh my gosh, there's so many steps. So I guess I could share steps based on kind of what we did personally. And first was going to casual social meetups. But first we found that through FetLife. And I kind of forgot initially how we heard about FetLife. But from there, you network and then you learn from other people. So that's when you learn about sites like STC or Cassidy, which are they're dated, but you can still meet people on them. There's also specific apps like there's a new app called Beyond, which is like similar to Raya and Field. And then Field is a really great app on itself with lots of open-minded people that are non-monogamous and kinky. So that is like the biggest platform for apps. And same thing, you meet people who are like that.
So to simplify that, do a Google search of whatever interested you.
There are also Facebook groups. There are meetup groups.
Yeah, no, there's a group
There's
for
social
everything.
media
Facebook
groups.
is never going to die between Marketplace and this. Like,
And once the algorithm gets you, you'll be getting advertised.
All right.
For
Yeah,
stuff,
there's so many different avenues to jump in. So you can kind of do what makes you most comfortable. One thing that I also like to remind people is that if they're interested in going to a swingers club, they can go to it and not play. Like there is no expectations.
Is there a bar there to like drink?
It depends
it's
on the club.
usually BYOB.
Yeah, it depends on the club. So
Okay.
And yeah. And I tell them like go there, don't have sex with anybody but your partner, or even if you're going solo, even better. Talk to everyone who's there, hear their experiences, and take that information and adjust accordingly moving forward.
Okay. I'm just thinking now. I'm thinking about people having sex at a swinger club. Because what I'm thinking about is like, okay, so a couple, like let's say you find someone who wants to go to a swingers club with you, and you're like, okay, don't have sex with other people, just explore on your own. Like, are there private rooms, or are you just having sex on the couch and with like an audience?
I guess I
All the
keep
above?
saying this. It's the
all of
clubs.
the
It
above.
depends.
There's orgy rooms for group play that are wide open. There are rooms that you can have closed door. There are people who have sex on a couch. Sometimes people make space on the floor if it's like a really busy party.
It depends.
On a swing, on a sex chair. People find a space if it can get really hot and heavy. So
You guys have such different Saturday plans than I do. Well, before we end this episode, we did get some Matchmaker Maria mail.
Okay.
So I want to, it's actually E&M related, and I felt like what a perfect opportunity to answer a question from an audience member.
let's hear it.
So this is Matchmaker Mail, new follower, and had a question about a woman I'm dating, and you're the only love expert I know right now. A little backstory. I'm 34 male and was married monogamously for 10 years. It ended due to infidelity. After therapy and some failed friends with benefits situations, I realized I struggle with being someone's main person. I recently matched on Hinge with a woman who practices E&M, which is new territory for me, but we really clicked emotionally and physically. I like her enough that I'm open to prioritizing her and pausing other connections, and she's open to that too. Since E&M is new for both of us, what boundaries, expectations, and questions should be clearly discussed early to make sure we are aligned?
I think the first one is time management. Oftentimes, people who are E&M have shared calendars, so they know who's with who and when and where. Or maybe, I don't know about where specifically, but knowing that you have time for this person. are you going to see each other on weekdays? Are you going to see each other on weekends? Is it how many times a month? So figuring out like scheduling, like what you can do together, what you can't do together is important. Asking questions like, can you travel? Can you go on vacations? Like how separate can you be if the woman that you're interested in is partnered or has a husband or something like that. So asking those questions, asking long-term questions, like what kind of poly, because it kind of sounds like they are leaning towards being poly.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe asking what type of E&M they want to be too, because there's a big difference between poly and lifestyle swinging, right? Like emotions involved makes everything much more difficult.
Yeah.
So
like, what do you guys want to do?
Figuring that out.
Yeah, what do you guys want to do together? Like, do they just want to be swingers together, or do they want to be poly and then create their own polycule, or be kitchen table poly, or be parallel poly, or garden party poly? Like, there's so many different types of poly. So first of all, like knowing all those definitions, all those different types is good to know. But I actually just thought of something too. So there's an activity that I created, and it's actually part of Ryan and I's journey too. It's called Yes, No, or Maybe. And so I have a list of things that you can do one-on-one that kind of like leans kinky, and you can do things together. But then there's also a section that leans open, a section that leans poly, and then a section that leans swinger. So then you fill it out, you say yes, no, or maybe, and then you compare notes.
you
and
fill
then
them out separately.
fill it out.
Yeah.
And then you do with that information what you will.
Is that on your website or something?
I guess I'll put it on there.
I don't have it on my
I don't have
website,
it on
but-
there right now, but I'll put it on.
Yeah, so if anybody wants that particular document, I could email it to them. So
Yeah, well, it's a fantastic. I mean, you should totally have that on your website where you collect people's emails and get them on your email
Yeah.
list.
yes.
No, that's interesting. I know the sandbox worksheet. So this is like when you envision the sandbox of like things that you want to do with your partner. So the things that you want to do with your partner, they're in the sandbox. Things that you're open to talking about are on the parameter of the sandbox, the rim, and things that you never want to do are outside of the sandbox.
Yeah.
And it sounds pretty similar. Although I love the idea of sharing it, like having a worksheet, because you're using so much vocabulary right now. A lot of it's new to me.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that you have to get educated in order to express your boundaries is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I mean, yeah.
Because it's very important to be educated. And I honestly, even when I'm in these spaces, some people don't know what the term ethical non-monogamy means. Like that word is very confusing to the general public, and people who are practicing it sometimes don't know what that word is. So I think it's very important to educate yourselves on vocabulary and terms, and then figuring out what resonates with you. Because there's also a bunch of sexualities. Like there's
There's a lot of sexuality.
well, a lot of sexualities. So figuring out which one aligns with you. And you just need to know yourself very well, and then what makes you happy, and then being able to express that and having those boundaries to make sure that you're happy in that case. So if someone, I guess what's an example of
Of what?
maybe like a way someone might deviate from themselves. So if someone wants an intimate, deep connection with someone, probably going to a swinger club might not be the main place to find it. Like there are people who are poly and swingers, so you might want to be a part of that community, get to know who does what. But if it's really important to you that you want a deep relationship, you want to know people on a intimate level, stick to it. Like if that's what makes you happy, and not because your partner wants to have fleeting connections or one night stands. And so little things like that, you just have to know yourself first, and then being able to express that with potential partners. And sometimes people are like, I don't know. So when people are like, I don't know, I always say like, try everything once and then talk about it afterwards, how that made you feel, if it made you feel better or worse. And then, yeah.
I just feel like I've learned so much. And I think it's really cool that something like this exists where people who want to participate in that can do it even in an ethical way. Like I feel like sometimes there are people that want to participate in these communities, but they don't have an outlet of how to meet people. And then instead of having a discussion with someone that they love because they're scared of being judged or being left, then they're doing it behind closed doors.
Yep.
And I think that's really cool that you're creating that space for people to be open with what they want in life and who to share that with a partner. How can people learn more about your services? How can people connect with you if this resonates with them?
I can be connected on various social media platforms under E&M Matchmaker or Birds of a Feather MM. And then my website is birdsoffeathermatchmaking.com. And that's probably the best way to get a hold of me. I'm also on LinkedIn, Victoria Joseph.
I can't wait to go to LinkedIn just to see what your headline on LinkedIn is like.
Yes.
Do people ever reach out to you on LinkedIn?
I think you've had a few.
I've had a few. I post my events on LinkedIn. So I've had people come to my non-monogamous speed dating events who found me through LinkedIn. So just a little bit here and there. So I've had a few inquiries, yes.
That's so great. This is so interesting. Well, I'm so happy you came. Thank you so much for coming to New York and coming on the Ask a Matchmaker podcast to talk about this.
Thank you for having me.
I really appreciate learning about a community that I know nothing about, but I love that. Like, I love that this exists. It also makes me realize I can't wait to tell my husband about this because it makes me realize just like, oh, like there are people that are wired to not want this either. Like there are people that are incredibly boring and lazy, like me and my husband.
Yeah, it's not for everybody.
You want me to send you the documents?
I mean, you can send it, but it's not going to make a difference. I'm like, we're okay. Yeah.
Seems like a lot of work.
But it does seem like a lot of work. I feel like I'm really busy right now.
Imagine George and his.
No, I can't, because like we are happy. That's the problem. You know. That's what it is. Like, we're happy and we're lazy. We don't want like more. I mean, we could. I just don't want to.
Well, I'm so excited to have been here. You were a part of my
so vanilla, you know.
You were a part of my beginning of my matchmaking journey, because when I looked up Matchmaker, you were the first one who came up, and your podcast was always informative. I always resonated with your advice. So
oh, look at you! You're here.
We love a full circle moment.
It's a full circle moment. I'm so happy you're here. Please go follow Victoria and Ryan. You can find them at Birds of a Feather Matchmaking all over the internet. And thank you so much for listening to today's episode. Be sure to subscribe, leave a comment. Yes, I'm finally on Spotify. I've been on Apple Podcasts this whole time. I did not know you guys had a comment section. So now I'm looking at the comments. So if you want to leave a comment on Spotify, by all means, tell us what you liked about today's episode. If you're watching this on YouTube, I know you leave comments. I can't wait to read those comments. And of course, if you're rating this podcast, please give it 5 stars. Don't be an asshole and give me a 1 star. That's not fun. This is a free episode. Come on. You get so much. And don't forget to share this episode with a friend. Simple steps help this podcast grow. And of course, be lovable, but more importantly, be likable. See you next week. I can honest to God say that in this particular episode, there's going to be people Googling at the same time they're listening to you. They're going to be like, what does this couple look like? And they're going to be like, oh, they're cute. Okay, I get it. And then they're going to be like, what are these vocabulary words? They're going to be looking up dungeons in their neighborhood. Even if they don't want to go, I just know my listeners are going to be Googling. So if you're Googling, that means that this episode resonated with you. Go share this episode with a friend. Don't forget to leave a comment. I can't wait to read them. Cheers.